Hello everybody. So today I wanted to share this decoupage upcycle project that I made recently. So what I do is I start off with this old shampoo bottle and I thought let's give it a quick makeover. So I start off with sanding the same with some sanding paper. Now my sanding paper that I use is pretty coarse. Hence, I have to do very less sanding, but it does leave a little bit of rough texture. But that helps because over after this is done, I'm going to add 2 coats of gesso on top of it, and you'll see because of the sanding on the plastic how beautifully the gesso sticks on top of my bottle and what kind of opaque white layer will it create. So this is something that I normally do on a lot of my decoupage project, especially if it is plastic or glass, because both these surfaces are very smooth and they need something to stick onto. Now here you can see how I'm applying a coat of gesso, and I have protected the top, the curvature part of the bottle, because that I did not sand. I wanted to keep that green just to kind of play with some colors, and I decided to kind of play with contrast. So here you can see how beautifully the first coat applies. It easily sticks onto bottle, which was very smooth, but because of the sanding, it gave that surface area to my bottle to for the gesso to stick on top of it. And then I'm heat drying it. However, if you are at home and you have ample amount of time, let this air dry. Again, I did the same mistake on this bottle as I did with my previous bottle. Is I heated it too much in certain areas, and that is why you'll see at the end that it kind of curved up in a certain section. But while decoupage, I made sure that that becomes the back of the bottle, so it was fine. It did not matter a lot. But please don't overheat your plastic bottles. Just make sure that you keep on moving heat gun if you are using heat gun. As always, with all my videos, whatever products I'm talking about or using, they'll be linked below in the description of this video and also in the blog post. So please feel free to check that out. Now, for this particular project, I wanted to use some floral, airy kind of a, springy kind of a napkin. So for that, I'm using this one of the CrafTangles launches. Now, these are newly launched CrafTangles decoupage napkins. I am using the one which is called Springtime, I think. I don't remember the code number, so I'll link that down below for you all in the description. But you can see how beautifully thin these napkins are, and there is no need to remove any ply, etc. Now, once everything is prepped and my bottle is dry, what I do is I kind of wanted to just add a little bit of background watercolor look on my bottle. So for that, I'm using these CrafTangles liquid acrylics because these are transparent pigments and they kind of mimic the watercolor look, but once dry, they are completely permanent because these are acrylics. So you'll see I started off with black on the bottom, and I add a lot of water to make it very light because I don't want very dark colors on top of it, as I'm going to do decoupage, and I wanted my colors to stand off in the background. And on the top half, I'm using the brown color. Now again, this is more of a personal choice. You could have gone with a colorful background, you could have skipped this entirely, or you could have used a pastel chalk paint to kind of create an opaque layer. It completely depends on what kind of look you are going for on your project. Once I'm happy with how everything dries, I will move on to the fun part, which is adding the decoupage napkin on top of my bottle. Now, this is my second curved surface. My first bottle, I had used kind of silicone paper, and I was not kind of happy with how the decoupage turned out. So here you will see certain improvements. First, I have applied the decoupage glue on top of the bottle. Then second, I stick my decoupage napkin on the center only. And then I take some cling wrap. So this is cling wrap in my hand, and I'm using it in one direction, going from center towards the outside. and sticking the napkin on the top of the glue. Now what this does is, since this cling wrap is non-sticky, first of all it will not stick on my hand and will not tear the napkin. And since we are starting from center and moving outwards, the chances of wrinkles on top of the surface reduces very drastically, because you have only stuck the napkin in the center, and then you are gliding using a very light hand and cling wrap towards the outside. So this kind of technique, helped me really well when I worked with cling wrap on a curved surface. And I hope you give this a try. I'm sure it will make your life simpler if you are into decoupage. Once I dry the bottle again, after I applied glue and napkin, I thought I'll do some decoration just to add a little bit of interest here and there. So for that, I'm using this script stamp along with some Versafine Onyx black ink. This is all the products, as always, guys, is linked in the description. And this ink is waterproof. So, once this dries, it is going to be completely waterproof, so that I do varnish, etc. on top of it, nothing is going to bleed through. I gave this bottle some time to dry the ink stamping that I did, and now I will add coat of varnish on top of it to protect my decoupage whatever I did, so that if I use this bottle as hand wash, it will not impact the decoupage that I did on top of the bottle. I do two coat of varnish. I give it at least 4 to 5 hours between each coat to let this dry completely. And after that, I have used this bottle and I have washed this bottle with hand twice and twice or thrice, and it has not impacted any decoupage or printing or stamping that we did on top of the bottle. So this is waterproof after adding two coats of varnish. I have used CrafTangles glue and varnish as well on top of this. As always, all the products are linked below. And that's my tutorial for today, guys. I hope you enjoyed. Here are some close-ups of the project. I'll see you soon with another tutorial. Till then, guys, take care. Bye-bye.